hate puppies. Good podcast.
I feel threatened.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Inside the Pallet House, the only podcast dedicated to solving first world problems and hopefully helping you figure out what beer you should be drinking this weekend. Based on what I saw come through the door, it may not be helpful this week. I don't know.
We have something to drink.
We have a couple, but I'm intrigued by them. One of them makes me nervous, and one of them I don't see how it could lose. Like, we'll see. We'll see. Your mic sounds like it's not working well.
I don't hear Ray.
I think you're using the wrong mic.
Yeah, he's on mic 4. Get over there, Ray.
I can just swap them. You good?
Yeah.
And we're back.
Okay, now we're back.
Oh, there we go.
That felt so much better.
We should do some pre-show planning, maybe.
Not when it's Sunday. And not when you've got somewhere to be in 3 hours, and we also have to record 2 episodes. Let's just tear down the wall right now.
And you just got off a brunch.
I
You
did.
love a brunch.
I did. I don't love a brunch. My wife loves a brunch, and I love my wife.
Okay.
That's literally the only reason I go to brunch. If it was up to me, I'd rather go to lunch on account of, how about a sandwich?
It's nice she treats you to brunch all the time.
No.
No?
That's not how this
But
works.
it's her thing, and she wants to do it all the time.
She doesn't whip out the
Look,
Amex.
Saturday is for the boys, and Sunday is for the girls. And I wake up, and I literally, every Sunday, she signs me up for a spin class, which I don't do spin, but I do it on Sundays. Sundays are for the girls. I go do a spin class with her, and then she's like, I want to do brunch. So, like, we pick up a spot, we make the reservations, we do our thing. It seems to work. She's very happy with me.
That's impressive you do that much stuff that takes a lot of your time and energy just to keep her happy. Weekly.
Our entire lives are actually spent trying to keep women happy. This is just under a microscope.
Yeah, but this is
I'm trying to understand where you're going with this, Troy.
To me, it's a big ticket item. Yeah, but my wife likes to shop. She knows I do not. So she does not drag me shopping because what is the point? So, if you do not like spin classes, to knowingly drag your significant other to do, it's an hour and a half, I would assume, to by the time you get up, get going, get there, get back. It's a big ticket item. It's not things that need to be done. Like, hey, I know you don't like doing the dishes, but please do the dishes. Or, hey, I know you don't want to take your kids to this practice, but you're going to need to do that. This is just running in place, basically, is what she's asking you to do.
But it makes her happy.
That's all that matters.
But that's what I don't understand. How does it make her happy knowing you're miserable?
Well, I didn't say I'm miserable.
You don't like doing it.
I'm not psyched. But it's different. It's different than saying I'm miserable. I'm not genuinely upset that I have to do it. It's
if I have to go do something that I know my wife's not into, I would just say, you don't have to come. If you're not going to enjoy yourself, please.
Well, she says, she'll be like, you don't have to come, but I know.
Yeah, but
if I go,
right,
but that's what I don't understand either.
The rules.
And a lot of couples do that dance where it's like, you don't have to do it. Okay, well, I know you're saying I have to do it. That's just weird to me.
Yeah, I don't know. One day I was volunteering.
And I'm the outlier. I'm definitely saying I'm the outlier because I know a lot of couples have this back and forth where they make each other. I'm not putting it all on your wife. Guys do it too. But if I'm gonna hang out with my guys and their significant others are gonna be there, and my wife might not want to be hanging out with them, I'll say you don't have to come. I'll fly solo.
So I'm gonna take this. Now you're gonna get into kind of the psychology of it. So this is actually an intentional move. She doesn't listen, so she's not gonna hear this.
Yeah.
So I've read a lot of stuff
because you would like it if she listened.
I know. So she wouldn't do that. No. So I'd read a bunch of stuff about how the act of play with your partner is actually super important to keeping things happy, right?
But what's
play involves?
You air quoted play. Okay, go ahead.
Because play is a really weird. Yeah. It's a people horn dogs are going, it's all about
yeah.
fucking, and other people like children are like, we're playing tag.
Yeah.
It's not.
We're playing
it's-
board games. We're, whatever your version of play is.
a big part of play is just the act of doing something physical together, because there are endorphins that are released in that moment, right? When you're
Yeah.
when you're doing something physical. So if you can find something that you can do physical with your partner, in this case, a spin class, because
Yeah.
it gets her endorphins going, it gets her juices flowing, metaphorically. Not you. I
Yeah.
see the gross
Sure.
look on her. Like, woo.
Subconsciously.
Yeah, it gets her in a happy place. Now, if she can share that moment with me, she comes out happier. It creates a bond because there are endorphins released.
Well, and she might,
oxytocin and all that stuff that gets released.
and
in
she
that
might
moment.
associate the good times with you.
And she does. And so I was like looking at my wife's list of hobbies, and it's short.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, well, what can I do? I was like, I work out, she works out. I just don't work out the way she does. So I was like, baby, when it's not football season, and then even during football season, because Sundays were like, by 1 o'clock, everyone's just drinking.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, you go every morning, Sunday at 10 a.m. I was like, can I join you? So it is actually something, but it was me trying to tap into
Gotcha.
this kind of physical
Yeah.
nature of releasing the endorphins and doing all of that. And I'm telling you, that shit works. Like, it's crazy. We go in there, we work out together, and I'm sitting there like, oh, my legs.
Yeah.
I'm miserable. I'm sweating. But when we come out, she's laughing at me differently. She's hanging
Yeah.
out. The odds of me getting lucky seem
Go
to go
up.
up dramatically.
Absolutely.
In that moment.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
what, and that was a byproduct I never
Yeah,
anticipated.
you did.
On
On some level. On some level, you thought, because we all think that way.
We all
But
do.
every
We all
time I
think that
brush
way.
my teeth or comb my
Yes,
hair,
yes.
I see my hair look good. I go, today's the day, dude.
Yeah, every time you do something you deem above and beyond and or nice and sweet, you think, hopefully this is going to pay off.
Well, this was one that I genuinely was just trying to like, what can we do that? And it's just a byproduct that I've noticed.
Yeah.
Like my odds go up.
Yeah.
Dramatically. I don't count on it because that would create another
Yeah.
another hurdle. Where I'm
Another
like-
problem, because
Yeah.
then when you don't get it,
Yeah.
then you're upset.
When I'm just laying there, like my chin on my hands, and I'm like naked ass sweating on the bed, just waiting. Like, hey, baby, paint me like one of your French girls.
Yes.
Oh, right.
You know?
Well, you guys have been married a long time, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
and then Troy, you've been married quite a
I
while
think
too.
I think Brent and I both got married about the same time. 2006. We were 7.
Right. So you,
Summer
I'm
of
6.
7.
I'm
yeah.
6. Yeah.
right. So you're going to be 20 years pretty soon.
Oh, yeah.
And that's a huge accomplishment. So doing stuff like that probably helps. And I know that Troy, you and your family go and do these things together and all.
Yeah,
you know.
we definitely, the wife and I definitely need to like carve more time out for ourselves, because we do so much just kid related because they're
Sure.
so busy. So it's definitely something we need to work on. But we also both enjoy doing those things with the kids where we don't want to miss those things. So
Right.
like every time we think about doing something, just us, it's like, but then we're going to miss this, and this, and then the guilt sets in with that. So
Sure.
it's definitely something we need to work on. But yeah, I mean, we've been together, and Brendan's been with his wife longer, and I've been with my wife total because they dated longer than we did. But yeah, 20 years. You got to keep it fresh.
gotta
You
keep
got to
it
do
fresh.
the work. You got to.
Well, then
And here I am. I'm not married, so my girlfriend and I, both of my kids are away at school, and then she has her kids half the time. So on the weeks that we don't have kids, we are dating. Like we
Yeah.
are out. We are doing things where
And that's-
we're in the
that's-
play.
that-
Right, we're doing the
Yeah,
play. And
that's-
some things, just like to you, like I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
I
But
don't
I
wanna be doing something,
recognize the
but I
greater
recognize
good.
where I need to go and I need to hang out and
Yeah.
whatever.
So yeah, that's what I'm saying. So like the Sunday thing, yeah, it's not my preferred how I would start the day, sitting on a bike sweating and then eating eggs and drinking a Bloody Mary. But she gets
You like brunch too?
I like drinking
Yes.
yeah.
and I like breakfast.
Yes.
But the whole concept of brunch
The whole
kind
concept of
annoys me.
brunch is annoying. I get that.
It
yeah.
does. It just
It's like to me, the concept of paying to get into a restaurant on New Year's Eve that you could get into 364 other
annoying.
days for free is annoying. It's like these are still this is still just breakfast and it's still just a drink. I can get these things at any time.
And I
you
don't like being pigeonholed afternoon, that it's got to be a Benedict or some
Yeah,
weird thing.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like sometimes I just want an Italian sub,
Yeah.
and brunch doesn't allow me to do that. Now I get that it does allow people to get breakfast later, but it's just lazy breakfast.
Yeah.
It's like I just didn't get out of bed on time. Yeah. So now I
And
need
it's twice as much.
Yeah. Like brunch starts at 10, which is also coincidentally the time that Hardy says, no, we're not making this crap anymore because you were either here for breakfast or not.
Right.
And they go, well, we'll start around 10 or 11 and we'll serve the same crap we would have served you.
Yeah.
It's fine.
I know single people that have kids like and or are remarried, like they do that. They get to do that dating thing on the every other weekend thing. And I'm kind of jealous of it because I'm like, you have a built-in like reason.
We do
like,
but I will say that some of the best dates we ever have are spent at home by ourselves, which is
Sure.
You don't have to do shit. We were home last night. Our Saturday night consisted of me making cocktails for her and a couple of her friends. So that was.
Is it weird being in your house because y'all have 5 combined kids? No, they've never been together in the same house, right?
Oh well, this will be the first. We just had our.
But 2 of them are away at college, so they kind of come and go.
They come and go. Schuler never comes home.
You're one shy of a Brady Bunch.
We are one shy. Schuler never comes home because he's going to stay at JMU. But the girls come home.
My wife has been gone. My wife and younger son have been gone since Thursday morning. So 3 nights with just me and my older son. And I find that when my kids go away with their grandparents or whatever, like I find being in my house is weird without them. Like the house seems eerily quiet and extremely large.
I hate the quiet.
Now I can be like when my wife and I will go away and stay the night, which we've done once or twice in the past couple of years. Like we'll get a hotel somewhere for a night. I can be away from the kids and that's fine and it doesn't feel weird. But something about being in my own house where when no kids are there, it just is like eerily weird and creepy and kind of depressing. Like,
yeah, it was kind of tough for me before I, basically moved in with her when the house, I was at this giant house, a 5-bedroom home.
Yeah.
The kids were gone. It was just me and I didn't want to be at home by myself.
Yeah.
I wanted to be around
people,
the people or the hustle and bustle. And Jill's 2 younger girls, because she has one in college as well. The 2 younger ones, they're there, and I enjoy hanging out with them. So they're a lot of fun.
Yes, well, you should.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of the quiet.
You're not a fan of the quiet?
Not when it's a home that is typically loud.
Sure.
I don't mind sitting. I think to Troy's point, I can go somewhere that I do not know, and I can sit in fucking silence.
Yeah.
I could cut the lights and sit in the dark and Aaron Rodgers this thing for 4 days if I really had to.
Yeah.
But you get me in my house where I'm like, I know there's noise here.
Yeah.
And that noise isn't there, then it seems really foreign.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan
Agreed.
of that.
Agreed.
Yeah. Anywhere else, fine. You sit me in the woods.
Yeah, I mean, I spend a lot of time in my car. I will turn the radio off, turn the podcast off, and just sit in silence for an hour and 15 hours, 20
Doesn't
minutes.
bother me.
Doesn't bother me at all. But you get around the hustle and bustle. That's something you're used to, especially at your home. You got to have it, You
go somewhere where there's noise. If you're standing in the middle of Disney World and it's empty and it's silent, you're like, this is creepy.
Right, yeah.
I don't like, this is not how this is supposed to work. It messes me up.
Why are, speaking of creepy, why are like in scary stories and stuff, like it's always like creepy young girls or like really old people. It's never like some 22-year-old like random Chad looking dude. Like it's just like the ghost is always some young child. Like it's never
or an aged.
Yeah, or like a 100-year-old, gray-haired woman that's like there to creep you out, or some old dude that's like lost a eyeball or something.
Did you ever see this is an old movie. And it's called The Lady in White.
No.
Anybody ever see this?
You're not talking The Lady in the Water, are you?
No.
The M. Night.
I never saw that one either. But
No, this is a movie.
I've never even heard of The Lady in White.
Lady in White
Sounds racist.
It's not. She was just dressed in white.
Oh, okay.
She was a honky, so I guess she was a little white.
-1.
No, but it's like she was not old. She was like, I would say 30.
Whoa.
As far as like and so when you said that, I was like, there's one, and it messed me up. And it's a weird story about a kid who
Is she a ghost?
Yeah.
Okay.
And he gets like he's in a new kind of like new neighborhood situation. His life is a little little weird. He's trying to find his way, but he ends up getting locked in the school overnight. And like that's the first time he sees the lady in white. But then the lady in white becomes a whole nother aspect of his life, and it's
She helps
finding
him.
her. It's a weird one. It's not a bad one. It's not like it's like jump out at you and freak you out. But as like a little kid, it messed me up. And she had to be about 30 years old. Now she's like the typical. She's lost her husband. She's lost her kid, and the lady in white is
So
that kind of
she's like
roams.
sad widow type.
Yeah, yeah. She walks these hills in a long black veil.
Yeah.
That song, like it's
69% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Sounds good. Where can I stream it?
69.
Lady in white.
Where can you stream it?
Because I'm always like, I spend a half hour every night just trolling Hulu and Netflix, like trying to find a movie I've never seen.
Keep in mind, this movie got me when I was 12. So
Well,
now
yeah,
it still gets me.
1988 is when this
No,
was
I'm not
released.
saying it's. And believe me, I watched an awful movie last night on Netflix that I was like, I like the actor, so I'm just gonna watch it.
It wasn't the Mel Gibson dragged across concrete, was it?
No, but that's on my probably to do list. But
Oh,
it's like
good.
2.5 hours. So.
Yeah, no, take the time, watch that.
Is it good?
No.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
They literally, I watched this movie and I was so frustrated because the concept's good. You've got like a dude who just got out of prison and he's like trying to get his life right, but of course that never goes the way you want. But he's got to take care of his son or his brother who's sick, and his mom's like whoring and doing heroin. It's a whole situation. Like if only you can get him out. Then you got a cop who's like been really good, but he used a little bit of excessive force, which by today's standards, I was like, boy, Mel Gibson's done worse in real life than what they did to try to portray him as a racist there. I was like, he's already covered that. He is.
He is.
He
Right,
is
he
clearly
is.
a
Yeah,
racist.
you know they're not even tiptoeing up to that line. They're like staying 50 yards back. Like
No,
we don't even want
They
to.
went into it. Like it was interesting. Mel Gibson was like, I'll take this role as this perceived racist. And I was like, what a stretch, Mel. Way to really go out on a limb there, you know?
Directors are like, well, we just did that in one take. It's like there's no
Yeah.
direction. Like
I'm
you knew what you
surprised
were
he's
doing.
still allowed to do the films he does.
He's a bit of royalty and a bit of racist. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
He's kind of gets a pass. And then you got another guy who is Ben Affleck, is it? Yeah.
Ben Affleck.
No,
That's the
it's
guy.
it's not
He's
Affleck.
an actor. Damon.
No, I'm trying to think. No, obviously those are the two you can go to. No, it's the funny guy from Wedding Crashers who's not the Wilson.
Oh, Vince Vaughn.
Vince Vaughn.
and
Yeah.
he's doing like. So I'm like, we got Gibson.
That's right,
We got
yeah.
Vince Vaughn. We got a known racist. We got a not known. No, probably not a racist. Like,
But a funny guy.
yeah, funny guy. Like this is gonna be funny. Lack of humor was amazing, but so like they have their storylines. Then they've got the crazy killer storyline. It's one of these movies where the three arcs come together,
Right.
And then that's the climax, and it takes them 2.5 hours to do so. Man, they were one like good producer or director away from having an hour-and-a-half movie that would have had a nice arc and a good move, but they dragged out so much shit, and I was like, oh god.
I've got an issue with movies over 2 hours.
Yeah,
Like,
if
I'm
it
just
goes
like,
o-
if I see
yeah.
it, I'm like, it better be.
You better have a story
it better
to
be
tell.
known
Yeah.
really good. Like, so I kept seeing this movie pop up on Netflix. It had Thor and it had Rooster from Top Gun.
Okay, we're looking good.
So it had, what was that Helmsworth,
Helmsworth, yeah.
and Miles Teller, who I personally think Miles Teller is one of the best that's doing it right now.
This movie already sounds good. Don't tell me it's a turd.
It's just not. It's not. It came out like in 2002. It's called Spiderhead.
Is that the
And
one where
it's
they're
a
on some
s-
kind of island
yeah,
or
it's
something?
a psychological thriller where like Thor is like this is giving these prisoners drugs that make them feel certain ways,
Right.
And it just was okay.
I tried to watch it. I think I watched like 30 minutes of it.
Yeah.
And I was like, nope. I gotta
It
move on.
never really goes anywhere.
Yeah.
And I'm like, here's two guys that like are making some of the best movies. Like literally Thor and freaking Rooster. Those are two of the biggest movies
that
ever.
Miles Teller is top notch. There's a couple movies that are not well known that he did. There was one where he was like a drummer.
Oh, you're talking about Whiplash?
Yeah, Whiplash.
Yeah, he's awesome in
That
Whiplash.
was a great movie.
But anyway, I'm always on the streaming sites I'm signed up for, and always just looking. I'll watch anything if it's
Check out that Dragged Across Concrete with Mel Gibson. And Vince Vaughn.
the 2 hour and like 40 minutes or so. I mean, it's 2:30. It's hella long. Like I was like, I can't go. I
My
can't
wife
get
was
into
furious.
this.
I mean, there's a point there where she was like, okay, this is slow. And I was like, baby, we probably don't have much time left. We have an hour and 20 minutes left. It's like,
We have another movie to watch.
Yeah.
I feel the same way with TV shows. If you're over 35 minutes on a TV show, you just wrap this up.
Yeah.
You got to start wrapping it up.
They kind of ruined it. Like all the dramatic stuff when it first came out, it was good. But like I remember getting into, especially Breaking Bad. I remember really having this feeling where like it was beautiful artistic shots, but you got to be where like the panning artistic shots were half the show.
Right.
And this was back when DVDs were around. I was buying the DVDs and just watching them on time and a half just to get till they started conversing.
Sure.
Because I was like, all right, I get it. The scorpion's going across the rock and they're driving down the desert road. Like I can't watch.
They did a great, and they did it even more after break with Better Call Saul.
Yeah.
They even started leaning into the imagery and the shots more. Another show that is slowly jumping the shark with that, and I know we're fanboys of it, is Yellowstone.
I haven't watched one episode this season because I don't have AMC anymore since I cut the cord. AMC, right?
No,
Paramount.
But AMC's the other ones. Yeah, Paramount. But I haven't watched this year, and every time I'm seeing stuff online, it's a lot of that. A lot of
Dude, they've really leaned into this is a beautiful shot.
Yeah.
And these horses are gorgeous, and we're going to spend some time just letting this happen. And they used to do that about once an episode where you'd get like a moment in time.
Yeah.
But it was like Beth coming out of a tub with her titties out.
Yeah.
And I was like, we should spend some time
Let's hang here.
appreciating the beauty of
Correct.
nature.
Beth from the back crawling out of that tub.
There's something to be
Yeah.
said for that. And it was a beautiful
Outside.
shot.
Yeah.
Outside I get to see the mountains.
Yeah. The hills,
So it was
the valleys,
nice. The river runs red.
through it.
There was some beautiful stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
Now in this last season, Sheridan has really decided to it's like a fucking music video.
Yeah.
For
Well,
Montana.
I heard it's a commercial, basically.
Well,
Yeah.
it is. It
And
is.
it's beautiful.
Right.
Yeah.
And they're I think they're running out of stuff to fucking do.
They
you
are.
know?
They went
And-
so
so
they'll be
hard the
like-
first
They
three
did.
episodes. Like the story arcs were crazy
Right.
in the first three
Yeah.
episodes. It's like blowing up fucking buildings and Jamie murdering some reporter, and that just fell off like it never happened. Like
that
it's
kind of
just-
stuff. Yeah. It's wild. So now you're getting about 35 minutes of good show and about 10 minutes of just kind of
Phil.
visual
Yeah.
porn, which
Yeah.
is, it's great. But I realized what they were doing. I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
I probably pissed away this season, maybe an hour and a half of just beautiful footage where we're
Yeah.
slowly letting it be. And that's,
Are you guys Apple guys too? Do you do Ted Lasso?
Yes,
I don't.
I do.
So
We love Ted Lasso.
Ted Lasso. So obviously they've got a couple episodes are on, and my girlfriend says to me the other night when we were watching, she goes, "Everybody's so much more beautiful," and because they've got this third season under them, everybody has an agent. Everybody
Yeah.
has some, like
Now
a
they
lot
got
of
a
these people.
dietitian.
They got a
Yeah.
diet,
Yeah.
and it's like everybody has changed who they are and what they're about because
They all look like
shows progress-
actors playing a role instead
It
of
was the
correct
same thing
people.
with
Yeah.
like Friends, like you watched
Oh,
Friends
yeah.
early on.
Oh my gosh,
They were people.
They were,
Yeah.
and then they weren't.
Yeah. Well, there was the one guy who held it together. He just got worse. Who was the one who ended up
Chandler.
Chandler.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He managed to say, "Screw the dietitian. You know what's cool? Opiates."
Did y'all watch Friends? Like, were y'all like watching Friends? Because that's one of the shows that I never got into.
You had to.
Like,
you had to watch it every Thursday night. I mean, that was the.
I never got into it.
I mean, I've seen enough episodes.
Oh, I've seen enough episodes to
but
know
I'm
the
at
players,
the point
but like,
now where like if I see it on TV and like I catch, the odds are that I'm like I haven't seen this episode.
oh yeah, for
But
sure.
I get it. I think it's an okay show. It's not like Big Bang Theory, which makes me want to literally bash my head into.
Oh yeah, that is one of the worst. I can't stand that. I don't know if I've ever watched an entire episode of that show.
Well, the canned laugh tracks is what. If
Yeah.
if you don't have that, that show is.
Have you ever seen where online where they will take out
They
the
edit it.
got- oh,
yeah.
yeah.
and it just looks like a bunch of dudes with Asperger's trying to have a conversation. It's hilarious. Like all the humor.
The
comes
long
out.
pauses really like
Yeah.
exasperate the whole
like,
like
when
not
they-
funny
we're supposed
jokes.
to laugh.
When
right?
they
Yeah,
pull
yeah.
it out, it is seriously. It's the autism corner. It's wild.
We started watching the Connors when it came back, or Roseanne when it came back on, and then she got in trouble because I've always thought
Speaking of
Roseanne.
racist,
I always thought Roseanne, the original show, was just a groundbreaking, funny show. Like,
it
and a lot of
absolutely
people
was.
did. Yeah.
No, that was one of the.
So when they
preeminent
rebooted it, we
shows.
got back into it. Well, then she, did her thing and got in trouble.
Yep.
And then they decided to keep it going. Now they call it the Connors. ever since she got off the show, it has been awful.
Oh,
but
really?
like we just hate watch it every week and don't laugh the entire time. And you're just sitting there and you're like,
Hold on, you hate watch it?
yeah.
Oh,
We're like, this is.
tell me more about that.
I'm excited about this.
Right.
Hate watching. There's like grudge fucking.
Right.
Well, it's just I put so much time into it. It's like watching 50%. 50 minutes of a show. And it's an hour-long show. It's like I'm gonna watch it. I keep thinking the next episode
gonna
is
get
the
better.
end.
It's gonna get better.
No,
Yeah.
I'm thinking
Yeah.
I want to see the whole series. It's about to end, but they keep pushing it out a year.
So is the hate watch similar to, you remember Howard Stern used to always say, I don't care who's listening, just so long as they're
Yeah,
listening.
exactly, yeah.
And he was like, 50% of these people hate me, 50% love it.
Yeah.
But I don't care because my numbers are up.
Well, I'm sure that's what they
So
think
is that
of
like
it. Yeah.
hate watching though for you? Like, are
But
you
to
at
me,
that
it's just
point?
funny because we sit there and watch it. We're like, the main character now is Darlene, and she's just an awful mother and person.
She was annoying in the original.
Exactly. And you're just sitting there watching it, and you're like,
Who is Sheldon's mom in Big Bang Theory, by the way?
Nobody knows.
Darlene is?
Darlene.
Oh,
is-
okay.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
So you
because
remember Darlene's boyfriend in Roseanne, the original?
yeah, he was in Big Bang Theory.
Yeah.
That dude was?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so that dude and I didn't know this, but like I was watching it one day.
Johnny,
Johnny Glick.
yeah,
Gillick.
Galecki
Yeah,
or something.
Galecki. Yeah.
So that dude was like, when I was like a baby in Chicago, like my mom always would like have to dump me like some play dates, and like he was like my crib playmate. That's my claim to fame.
Ah.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
I remember him
I've probably
talking
bit
about
him
you.
before.
I remember him talking about you
Yeah, this
on the
son
red
of a
carpet.
bitch. Yeah, he said I knew I had to get out of the ghetto when I met this guy
Yeah.
Brendan. He made it, and some of us didn't.
But yeah,
World keeps on turning.
They're just awful. They're just awful people. But then they'll like make these high moral standards. Like she quits her job because they were like polluting the water. But then like she'll steal from places and like just do. You're like, what's your weird moral stance here?
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have any other shows that you hate watch?
No, that's about it.
So you hate watch that.
We like we really used to love the Goldbergs, but it is bad now. It's just
I like
really
the-
not
so
good.
I used to hate watch Caillou with my kids.
Oh yeah, I remember
Everybody
that.
hates them.
Yeah.
But I would hate watch that because I'd be like, look at this little kid.
What? Like
Yeah.
just whines and
He was a
whines
whiner.
and
Just
whines.
such a shit. He's teaching all the wrong lessons. Like
Yep.
Daniel Tiger's Neighborhood was at least good for kids. Like it's a catchy song about doing the right thing. Like I can deal with it and it gets stuck in your head. And now I'm walking around the house humming a tune that's actually about being a better human. I'm like, that's good. I watch Caillou and I'm like, maybe I should complain more.
Exactly.
Right. I'll get my way if I whine.
Yeah.
The stuff we
Fucker.
watched as kids was actually legit good kids television, like Mr.
mean,
Rogers'
Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood,
Sesame
are you
Street,
kidding
and
me?
stuff
Sesame
like
Street.
that.
Oh,
I mean,
man.
that was like real like electric company. Like that stuff
Yeah.
was like
And Mr. Rogers, like,
Mr.
actively-
Wizard's World. I got my kids in a Mr. Wizard's World. You can watch it on streaming.
Dude, that was fantastic.
Yeah.
I dug the hell out of that show.
They're like,
Yeah, those were good
They're like,
shows.
oh, it's like some YouTuber they watch, but like old,
you
like
say
Mark
Reading
Roper or
Rainbow?
something. A Reading Rainbow was
those?
awesome.
Classic.
Yep.
And then I started dumbing myself down. I find you can't do that on television. I was like, you know what? I'd
Yep.
rather just slime shit.
That's right.
Started
that show was
slowing
awesome.
down. Yep.
We didn't have cable, but that was like when I went to a friend that had cable. It was like we better be watching some that and some Danger Mouse.
Ooh.
Remember Danger Mouse?
Interesting. Very vague.
Wow.
That was another Nickelodeon show that like we didn't have.
I like moved right to Ren and Stimpy.
Or Cat Dog. What a ridiculous. Do you guys ever remember Cat Dog where they were attached? Oh, that was.
Yeah, see, that's when shit got weird.
That
That's
was
like,
all the weird stuff. But
That
you
was the
said Ren and
90s
Stimpy.
stuff.
Ren and Stimpy's a little odd.
oh,
Yeah.
that's way odd. That was
Yeah.
why. I love Ren and Stimpy.
That was a kid show that was made for adults.
That was the beginning of like what Adult Swim, like that was kind of
Yeah.
like the crossover where they were like, hey, wait a minute.
Could do
We
that.
could do some weird shit and adults will watch this too.
Yeah, you get high and
Yeah, they
just
were like,
turn the volume off.
I
and
see
watch it.
weed sales are up.
And then
Right.
SpongeBob came out and just blew it all up.
Which SpongeBob is clearly made for kids and stoners.
Yeah.
Because I remember
I
we
never
used to-
got into watching it.
we used to watch it in college, and I'm not kidding. Like you would laugh your ass off. It was like Baywatch and SpongeBob were like can't be missed. And Baywatch, I literally, my freshman year, worked my schedule around Baywatch. I couldn't have a class from 11 to 12.
Just because of what is it? CJ? Was it just because of Pamela Anderson? CJ?
I was a Yasmin Bleeth guy.
Oh,
No, you liked the short-haired.
No, I liked Yasmin.
What's her name?
I know what you're talking
The
about.
Hoff's girlfriend.
She sucked. Yeah.
She got her hair cut at the barbershop. You know who I'm talking about.
Yeah, she
man.
she had a lot more hassle than Hoff. She sucked.
She was awesome.
I didn't like her at all. No, Yasmin Bleeth, which, you know, have you heard the stories about her? She would do so much cocaine back then.
no, really?
That when guys would do kissing scenes with her, there was one of the actors and he would complain that his mouth would go numb when he had to do kissing scenes with Yasmin Bleeth. You know how much
That's-
cocaine
that is
you have
hilarious.
to have in your system?
Oh my God.
That your saliva is giving nummies to the next guy?
Well, I would assume not a lot. I would assume if she just rubs it all around in her mouth, then you start making out with her. It's probably it's not coming back out of her system.
You know,
she's probably just done a whole bunch.
I just started feeling bad for her because I just started thinking, you know, if you got that much cocaine that it's numbing things, she's probably never given a blowjob that lasted less than 20 minutes because you know what I mean? Like if you're just numbing that unit the whole time, you're desensitizing it to everything.
Yeah.
I've thought
That's
about
a
that.
tough. I didn't either till right now, and then I just started feeling bad because, like,
Yeah, but wouldn't you kiss Yasmin Bleeth for some numbing side effects? I mean, if that's the worst case scenario, she ain't puking on you. Like
no, dude. I mean, you can end up addicted.
they had some smoke shows on there for sure.
Oh, there's no doubt about it. We're not just talking about Hasselhoff
No.
because gorgeous is as gorgeous does.
That
He's
show was
Knight Rider.
that show was so weird.
I mean, literally every day I would race back from campus. I would
It was
watch.
in syndication, right?
This is on USA.
Yeah,
It was at
yeah.
11 o'clock on USA. I would come back from campus. I'd watch Baywatch, and then I'd go back about my day. But that was like, you had to, and I did that multiple semesters just because it was kind of like it was my thing. I think I like tits.
You think?
I might.
That was like the most popular show on television for a long time in the world.
Crazily so.
Yeah.
And it was really bad.
Oh yeah, the storylines are crazy.
I'm looking up what she's done lately.
Oh, I'm sure she's killing.
I'm
it.
sure she sobered up and ate a sandwich and got bigger.
Did you watch the Pamela Anderson doc?
I didn't. I watched the one she did with Tommy Lee.
The movie? Oh
No,
I see what
just
you did
the
there.
boat, the boat one. I watched that. I watched it a bunch of times. I was looking for subtleties. I think I figured it
You
out.
find any?
Yeah. There's one big story arc. It's Tommy's.
The Pam Anderson doc was actually pretty good. She
Is
got
this her today?
That
This
is her
Yasmin Bleeth?
today.
Oh,
Yeah.
She look
Not,
good?
Oh no.
No,
She's been rode hard and put up wet.
I bet you could find a better picture.
I sure as hell hope so.
Have you seen the freaking videos online where like the girls are catfishing where they look like that? And then they put their makeup on and do their hair and they look like supermodels?
That's what Coke will do to you, boys and girls.
Okay, look, yeah, there are better. I'm not saying she's pretty, but like when she smiles, I still see all the things that I loved about her at one time. I mean, you just literally you're showing me a picture of her in sweatpants.
I mean,
looks like she's been drinking for 3 days. Just got up to walk her dog. What kind of dog she have?
Little chihuahua or something. Little.
Of course.
No. It's like
That
this-
looks like her.
no. That dog was a beaut at one time, and now it's like
That was a purebred.
that dog has seen better days too. Yasmin Bleeth and that dog sit around and do blow all day.
That dog was a
long.
purebred at some point.
Dude, yeah, no,
You're like, that's a lab.
Both of them were thoroughbreds at one time. That dog looks ragged. It's got meth mouth, and she's all big, baggy, eyes closed, staggering out. Oh man,
Gotta
that
be
dog.
hard to.
Which one you think smells worse?
Oh,
The dog or her?
I mean, she looks pretty rough.
She looks like she smells bad, but that dog looks like it could smell worse.
Everyone could close their eyes and smell. Imagine what that dog smells like. She could smell like hundreds of things
Wow.
at the same time.
Yeah, no, exactly. You're like notes of baby powder, and
Yeah.
is that vomit?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, the BO's a nice touch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's like a stripper at 3 a.m.
Yeah.
You know,
No, because a stripper at least starts.
start smelling beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, I'm fast forward.
She doesn't look like she smelled beautiful in a while.
She looked like she smelled beautiful back then.
In the 90s.
Yeah.
Which was actually a long time ago.
To you. To you.
No, you just stop and you don't think about it. You're like, That was actually a while ago.
Oh.
To us, the 90s was a decade ago.
If you tell me that it's a car from 2000, I'm like, nice car.
New car.
Turns out in
Yeah.
2 years, it's an antique.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Speaking of cars,
Yeah.
how did you decide on anything yet?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So Troy last week planted a seed on me while I was out drinking. He sends me a text and he's like, hey, man, got a bead on a dope Wrangler. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, tell me more. And he's like, one owner, 85,000 miles. And I'm like, you've said everything I need to know. Like, this thing is a steal. And it's a dude I know, and it's and really good friends of Troy forever. So I'm like, all right. I was not in the market for a Jeep Wrangler. I'm telling you, when Troy sent me this text, I was like, nope, not interested. 2 beers later, I'm like, I must have this truck.
Right.
You know? And so I have gone through, I've researched every single thing that you can put on an old, this is a 97 Wrangler that I'm looking at. And I had Troy ruined me. It's amazing how quickly I can shift gears when I'm looking for a Jaguar.
I kind of felt bad bringing it up to him because I knew it was like, hey, alcoholic, here's this 12-year-old bottle of scotch that you've coveted forever. I'm not going to say you need to drink it, but I'm just going to sit here in front of you unopened.
Well, you know, I just kind of joined the group just a couple of weeks ago. I've done a couple things, and we had a bonding moment last week after the podcast. We sat here and we talked about it, and I thought
you got the post show.
I got the post, and I was like, man, this is bad. You had this.
The post show should be the show.
Yeah,
the post show is usually the best part of the show, but we don't
got to
record
really
it.
talk about it, and
it's because we don't feel like we have to fill the gaps in between the conversation where it's like you keep it moving like you do on the air. Post show, you'll sit there for 10 seconds of silence and truly think about, well, I do have an opinion.
right.
Well, and obviously you're going to say some things off mic that you might not say on mic.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Maybe.
I mean, you do and you don't. We're pretty open, but I know what you're saying. Like there's certain things where I'm like, I won't go down that road.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to end up caught. Where I can't figure out how to get out
of it. Yeah.
But it was a better joke if I delivered it this way and then find my way.
Or even personal stuff. That's what I was thinking.
Personal stuff for sure. Yeah. No, but I mean, I think all of it. You bite your tongue a little, whether it's personal or like the better joke.
Yeah.
But you're like, I don't
Right, taking it right to the edge, but not going over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas I just try to, I don't know. The after show though, it's more thought out. Clearly, we're thinking.
Right.
But yeah, we're really thinking about this, and so I went and looked at it yesterday. Actually,
Okay.
Troy and I went out there and we spent some time with it, and it's everything I thought it was mechanically. It's beautiful, and then there were parts of it that I'm like, shit, I didn't think about that aspect or this aspect. The more time I spent with it, I realized in order to get it where I want it to be, it's going to cost me a lot of money because these things won't stand in my mind. Like, this has to get fixed. This has to get fixed.
Right.
This has to get
Right.
fixed. And truth is, it's perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with it. It's all just ticky-tack
Jeep
shit.
people have their version of their Jeep
Everybody
in their head.
Yeah.
Well, not everybody. If
No,
you're not a Jeep
all
person.
Jeep people,
Yeah.
they have some people want it to have the cat eyes.
Yeah.
Some people want it to be big. Some
Yeah.
people actually want it to be stock. And some people want it to be luxury. Some people
Yep.
want it to be,
Yeah.
you can spray a hose in it. Like, Jeep people have different beliefs of what is a perfect Jeep.
Right.
So it's like you're never going to buy one that's yours. So it's like, okay, well, if you have X amount of dollars, that'll get you in the door. But then how much more X
do you
amount
wanna-
of dollars? Like,
And in my mind, before I got to get to the shit that made it mine, I was looking at about $4-5 to get it where that thing will run forever. Like, basically, you're replacing a lot of things that you think might be worn.
Sure.
And
Yeah.
yeah,
I
because
ran the numbers.
the problem is it's a 26-year-old vehicle, mostly garage kept. Fine, but it's still 26-year-old parts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to wear out.
Whether
no
it
matter
has
what.
whether it has 8,000 miles, 80,000 miles, or 800,000 miles, those parts were produced 27, 28 years ago.
And the more I was talking with them, how many times did we hear this? Oh no, that's original.
Yeah.
From, from 97. And it's like,
Ooh.
wow, that is impressive.
Right.
Yeah.
That also means, okay, all that shit sometime in the near future does have to get changed. It's driven so little that it's it doesn't impact it.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful car, and it drove great. But I actually hit him up today.
Oh, you did?
Have you talked to him?
I talked to him yesterday, and I said, don't hold your breath. And he goes, I figured as much. And I assumed that's where you were going. So I'm assuming you hit him up. And
I hit him up and just told him, thank you so much for the opportunity. I don't think it's right for me at this time. And I told him I would send him some Venmo money because, of course,
yes,
I go to look at this fucking truck. And you know how Jeeps have those latches on the hood that hold the hood down?
Yes.
So I go over and because I know him and I'm comfortable with him, I was like, I'll go ahead and just open the hood and look at the engine. Whereas usually if you're looking at a car, you're kind of like, do you mind opening the hood? Like you don't touch it at all.
Right.
You know what I mean? But I was like, I know this guy. I go to pop the latch and I guess the thing just snaps. So now like we're test driving it and like one side of the hood doesn't have a latch. And he's like, the whole time he's busting my balls. He's like, well, either you buy it or you pay me for the latch. And I'm like, come on, dude, that was going to explode at that moment either way. But so when I texted him,
because it's it's got two hard
rubber.
plastic pieces on it, and it's got like a tiny little rubber bungee. It's real thick, but the rubber bungee was like literally gray from being really old.
Dry rotted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So all it took is a little extra pressure on the bend, and it snapped.
Yeah, she gave up the ghost. So when I told him, I'm not interested, I also had to say, and let me know how much I should Venmo you for the
He
damn
did tell me
latch.
yesterday I already ordered it.
So he knows the price.
Yeah.
We'll see if if he wants me to pay for it, technically I'm the one who touched it. But for the record,
You can pay for half of it.
whoever touched it next was going to be the
pay
one.
it, right? He was going to break anyway. Yeah.
Like, I just wish it had been someone else looking at his Jeep.
I think he said it was like $32 for two of them.
Oh, he bought two?
Yeah. Well, I mean, you can't buy one.
You can.
you
I would have
can't.
bought one for him.
Then you offer him $15. And
In my mind,
$16.
I told my wife, I said, I owe this guy $20. So he'll get the 20.
Well, the thing about Jeeps, I think we've talked about this, but used cars, the value of used cars is going to go down because we know that it's going to start coming back. But Jeeps never lose. Are never gonna.
They plateau.
They kind of
And then they kind of start to climb back up.
Correct. So the Jeep, I mean, if it's cost or price or whatever,
That car's already on its way back up.
Right.
It's already bottomed, and so that one's up. I don't know where it's going to live, but it's probably somewhere around the price that he was looking for.
None of them are like gonna make you insane amount of money though. So you don't buy them as like you can buy a supercar for $250, and in 5 years it'll be worth $1 million. So like you can actually invest in it, but
But a Jeep, you're not going to lose.
You're
money.
you're not going to lose any money on
money.
that Jeep.
No.
Yeah. So it's not going to hurt him, and to keep it.
Well, Troy made a critical error in trying to sell this particular Jeep.
All right.
I thought it was a good idea.
In retrospect, it was, but it's going to cost me more. So Troy picked me up in his new Jeep with the doors off. So we're getting a full Jeep experience, cruising on a beautiful day over to look at the old Jeep. At which time I then get over there, and then it occurs to me after driving in that Jeep, have you seen the new Jeeps? They're beautiful.
Well, that's the other thing too. It's like if you want to spend $10,000, right, like $10,000 on a car, then you might as well spend 25 or 30 on a new one.
That's how I ended up with mine, because I wanted a beater Jeep, but I couldn't find one for less than 10. And I was like, I'm not going to spend, just 10 grand on something that's going to need another 5 or 6 or 8 or whatever to get back into the game, when for just over 20, which mine was closer to 30, but okay, I'll just bite the bullet and buy that, and it's newer, and I can trust in it.
And you can have it for
Yes.
25 years.
And if you decide in 5 years it wasn't the right choice, you've rented it for like 5 grand.
Yeah, and you're not going to lose. A 5-year-old Jeep is not going to lose that much.
Yeah.
No, you're going to lose $5,000.
Yeah.
So it's about $1,000 a year to own it. It's actually not a bad.
The only knock on my Jeep was it was high miles, but because it's the way I drive, so next week I will have had 7 months. Yesterday I hit 3,000 miles that I put on it in
7 months.
In 7 months.
Oh,
Well, Troy ruined me because I saw the new Jeep, sat in the old Jeep, realized, yep, I still do love Jeeps. I think I need a brand new Jeep Gladiator.
So are you off the 4Runner track now?
I think I'm literally going to just actually bite the bullet, take the money that I'd save for the beater,
Yeah.
put it down on the pickup truck,
The Gladiator.
That's the one that's the one I like. And then knowing that money I put down, that's how much money I'll probably lose over the next few years. That's my car, and then go from there. But I
Did you run the numbers and calculate? Like, is it affordable putting that much down and your payment and everything?
It's kind of. I mean, I'm gonna have a payment for the first time in forever, but I think I'm gonna make it go. I just. You really. I know you. That was not your intention. You don't think that you. But being in there.
I only brought it up to you because years ago you told me you loved the 97 Jeep and you had a 97 Jeep. And I was like, well, if you like that, then you're going to like this one.
No, that one. And it was beautiful, and driving it brought back so many memories. And I was just like, man, I really love this. But then sitting in yours was like, I can love again.
Yeah.
Like, I don't need to go back to my old
I mean,
girlfriend.
I was a Jeep purist. I mean, I wanted a 2-door Jeep more than anything. I thought the 4 doors were garbage and all that stuff, but I love having the 4-door now. Like, my kids can sit comfortably in it, and I can still pack it out, and we can take it on a road trip. Which we've taken it to Massanutten, we've taken it to the lake. So like, it's good for that. Where the 2 doors, like, my boys are getting to be too big. Like, they can't sit in that jump seat in the back. Like,
that was the other thing I was looking at. I was like, my kids are getting longer.
Yeah, they can get in. Yeah, 4-door Jeep. That's what you need.
But I don't want a 4-door Jeep.
Oh, you want the Gladiator, so you want the truck.
I need the truck, which is wildly different. Like, let's be honest. That's why I'm like, you have to have stick shift in a 2-door Jeep because it drives differently. It's a small wheelbase.
A or B?
Doesn't matter.
Let's go clown.
Let's go clown. All right.
Later in the day, I'll need something lighter. But so like in a 2-door Jeep, I feel like that's where you need a manual. As soon as you get to the 4-door Jeep, the manual loses a lot of its charm.
Huh.
Yeah.
Because it's just a bigger vehicle and it just feels better in the automatic. It's just weird. I never thought I would say that, but it's true. A 2-door Jeep, it throws into things. You can like move it around. It's beautiful with a stick shift. The 4-door Jeep, the automatic feels better between the two. And then imagine putting a bed on it. Well, I can only assume that it even exacerbates the point, like, or exaggerates the point. Like, you gotta have
the automatic.
So I think that's where I'm headed. So thank you, Troy. You just cost me like $40,000.
Went from 10 to 40 real quick,
real fast. But so I'll put the 10 down, and then we'll do like a 5-year finance situation, and then sell it. And I assume I'll lose the 10 I put down, and we'll call it a day. It's a brilliant mathematical equation. In fact, I just gave you the opposite of Rich Man, Poor Dad. Rich Dad, Poor Dad. If you read his books, that's the exact opposite. Do not buy a depreciating asset. And I'm like, don't mind if I do.
I always go to Brendan for my financial advice. He's just stellar.
Please don't. Please don't.
Oh, you care for me.
I care for you more than I do for myself. I actually went and looked at all my credit cards the other day, like really put them together.
Troy, you want me to pour some more in that cup?
No, it'll.
Are you sure?
It'll come down.
Have you ever had a moment in time where, like, in your head you have X amount of debt, and then you actually put it all together and then find out how much debt you really have? You ever gone through that experiment?
It is it's a scary.
You're buttoned up.
I've never done that.
It's a scary experiment.
I've been getting out over my skis a little bit lately.
Actually, I can't say no. When I was a kid, when I was in college, I definitely had a few. Luckily, they were low rent. Well,
I can say it's been 20 years since I've had the reality check that I had this week. And now this is on the back of, fuck it, I'm going to finance a $40,000 vehicle. but no, like I like, because I've been buying, like, if you think about it, like I got a music festival coming up. I bought the place already. I got the tickets, and I keep
you just
buying.
Went to Dallas, Fort Worth,
which you just start.
Well, you
piling these things.
You had to buy the really expensive stereo speakers.
Well, that was what really that was when I fell off the cliff.
You think?
Oh, I know. Yeah, no, that was when I fell off the cliff, and I spent all that money.
Were you here for that, Ray?
I was not.
He's got the Sonos speakers.
Oh, okay.
And he has them all throughout the house, basically. And it was about a $5,000 venture.
Really?
For the speakers, just to listen to the
same
play
songs?
Something on your phone and have it project to all
of them.
But my house sounds amazing.
I bet it does.
My wife woke me up this morning playing like music in the room. I was like, well played.
Well,
Some people can do that with a Bluetooth speaker for $20, but
Right.
not this guy.
Not me.
I've had some heart-to-heart conversations with Jill, my girlfriend, about finances. I started bringing my bourbon over to the house, and I probably have 35 or 40 bottles that I brought over
The
to.
equivalent of a toothbrush being at somebody's house.
So yesterday,
More important.
yesterday we're getting ready to stage my house to sell. I have a whole bourbon room. I have 85 bottles left still at the house, and she was like, $6,000, $7,000. What is that? $8 grand? And I was like, fuck, it might be closer
Yeah.
to $10,000 in bourbon.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And and that's where you're like,
How many bottles do you think you have?
Probably 130, 140 bottles.
I mean, let's do the math on that.
Yeah,
Say
this is where it gets
130.
complicated because I hadn't done the math.
I mean, 130 times 50 is $6,500, and you know most of them are more than 50.
Yeah, easily. I have a couple bottles that are 150 bottles, $150.
So 150 times 75, which would be average, that's $9,700.
Yeah, I have $10,000 in bourbon.
Are they opened or are they closed?
Every bottle is open.
So they're not worth shit.
Well, I mean, you can. Some of them you can sell.
But you know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Like if it was closed, then you actually can.
I could resell
flip
them.
it.
Absolutely.
Once it's open, it's yours.
It's mine.
Yeah, that's kind
It's
of where
scary.
I am.
Yeah.
Yeah, except that yours is probably paid off, and I just realized I'm paying interest and all this stuff. It was a moment of conversation with my wife where I was like, "Hey, how much debt are you
So
carrying?"
was she basically giving you the ones for, like, telling
yeah.
to get yourself in check?
Yeah, absolutely. She's like, no more bourbon for a while. I was like, I don't
She's
have anywhere
probably right.
I don't have anywhere to put it.
Yeah.
That was me after we did the bourbon challenge on the podcast, and all of a
Yeah,
sudden I
you
had
bought a
50
bunch.
bottles of. I was like, "What the hell am I going to do?" And I'm finally starting to get through it because it was just last night where I went in the room and was like, I don't have what I want.
Right.
But I'm finally
You got to
getting
get your
through
little
it.
cask going over here.
I'm having a hard time filling that bottle.
Don't you have plenty of nips left to...
I did all the nips,
Oh,
and it's
okay.
about 70% of a bottle. I need that last 30%.
Well, why don't you just go down some of the lower tier stuff that you haven't
could
gotten
just
down?
take the
and
Waltons and
go
just dump it.
No, just dump.
Oh, still
nips.
mix.
Just take nips out of
That's a
everything.
good idea.
You don't
'Cause I'm
have
just-
everything down because you might not ever get
That's
some of those
true.
bottles. You might not get to the bottom of, right?
Yeah, it's true. Okay, you know what? I like your attitude. Let's just intentionally fill it up.
Yeah.
Let's get this party started.
So today for the deli, we got this is a weird looking label, and really what got me on it was the name. It's Clown Shoes, which is
that the brewery?
That's the brewery, I think, because underneath it says Lionhearted Sour Ale with passion fruit puree and hibiscus, 5.2%, vibrant tropical, brewed by Clown Shoes Beer, Boston, Massachusetts, and Windsor, Vermont. Employee owned, limited release. But Clown Shoes has always been partial to my heart. I don't know where I heard it first, but it makes when somebody calls someone fucking Clown Shoes, they're like, "You're a joke, you're Clown Shoes." And
Yes.
I remember hearing that and just doubling over with laughter. Like, to me, that one always gets me.
Okay, so this one was like, you've always wanted to try one of these.
No, I've never even heard of it.
Oh.
But I just saw Clown Shoes and I was like, I've got it. We've got to do that. And because we have tried so many beers, I never, ever know. I literally saw some other stuff. I was going to buy like some singles or something, but I was like, I think we've had all these.
Yeah, watch. The abacus is going to hit us up next week and be like, you guys did that back in 92.
We very well may have, but this does not look familiar to me. Now, they could redone the whole label and everything, but
It
I don't
doesn't
think
taste familiar to me either. This is a unique beer. Unique New York.
It sounds like it. Sour ale with passion fruit puree and hibiscus.
I can tell you this.
It does not sound good.
The saving grace of this beer, to me, is the strange passion fruit puree. Fruit.
I know we're both having trouble with the passion fruit.
It's a difficult word. It's all the
Smells good.
There's a
did you
lot
smell
of
it?
stuff happening in this beer.
that you can actually smell the passion fruit puree
And
right there.
hibiscus,
It's a weird,
flowery and fruity.
weird beer, man. It really is.
It's a sour.
Oh, it's
It's very sour.
but it's one of those sours that mellows pretty quickly.
Mellows into a very nice fruit finish there at the end.
All that passion fruit. It's strange.
Yeah.
Hibiscus is on the nose, passion fruit's on the flavor, and sour is omnipresent.
The label's one of those like printed on labels on like your generic 16-ounce can, and it just has a weird look. Like,
Yeah.
it doesn't make sense. Especially with the brewing company.
I'm not sure what to say about this, to be honest. It's very interesting. On the back of it, it says, it's beer without pretension. You never know which face you'll have to put on when the new day breaks. Are you peaceful, fierce, or sympathetic? I don't know. This is really strange. I'll go first.
Does it have is the lion, can you look at it and tell me, does the lion have multiple faces on it?
It does.
It's kind of hard to tell.
On the front of it, it does.
Yeah, it's got like a weird lion with like multiple faces.
Oh, yeah.
going.
He's got... So that
Like
those
he's
are the-
tripping balls or something?
No, that's the whole like aggressive and
Right. That's
whatever
the
he just
peaceful,
said.
fierce, and sympathetic.
Yeah, the lion has all those things.
Uncertainty be damned. You are armed and ready for whatever comes
And
next.
the lion looks like Scar from Lion King.
Yeah.
Not a pleasantly
No, not your friendly lion.
No, this is definitely one who would kill Mufasa.
All right, so to describe the taste of this, it's kind of like those warheads. Do you ever have
Yes.
those warheads?
Okay, that's
Put them in
fair.
your mouth and it like sours, and all of a sudden it like mellows out. It's easy. Every first sip or every time you put it in your mouth, sour immediately hits you, and then the fruit takes over.
That's what I'm saying. The saving grace is the fruit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's too sour, and then it's not.
Correct.
It's that puree.
Yeah, and the hibiscus. We made a great cocktail with hibiscus tea, which is really good. And it didn't,
Malort?
not Malort.
Oh, weird.
But this, again, I'm going to go with 2.5 again. It's not a bad beer, but it's not a great beer. It's okay. I don't know if I'm going to be able to finish this though.
You know what I like about having Ray on the show? He is like very particular.
Oh,
He doesn't throw threes out. Like if it's a 2.5, it's a 2.5. You are a bit of a snob.
and I'll admit it.
No, that's fine. I'm glad to have that.
If it sucks, I'm going to tell you it sucks, and we'll, But this is tough. This is again. I'm glad I've tried this, but it's not. I'm not going to go. I need to find that clown shoe thing.
All right, so we got a 2.5 there. I'm going to be a little more gentle here. It was very sour on the front, but I really like that passion fruit puree because it's really popping.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it adds you can almost mouthfeel puree
Yeah.
in it. It's that pronounced, and I really
You can see the haze in it.
Yeah, and I think that is the puree. So I really like that. That being said, though, that really like that is giving it a 0.5 point, which is why it's leaving the 2.5
Yeah.
and moving to a 3 for a sour, for a fruit forward sour. I dig it a lot, but that's still only a 3.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go 3.
I would agree with both of you on what you've said. My take is I like sours, but even for me, this is just
A little sour.
just a step over the line of too
right.
much. It's
I mean,
just
it's
a
just
little
there.
too much. It's a little too tart, but the flavor, the flavor of the sour is good, and the flavor of the passion fruit at the end of it is very good, and it's great on the nose. If they dialed that tart back a half a click or whatever measure of tartness they use, I could have gone higher than a 3, but I'm going with Brendan on the 3. It's slightly above average. It's a decent taste, but it's just not.
Could a pinch of that Himalayan salt? You know how like when they add
Man, you know what?
yeah.
That might work. That's
I
good.
think that's
That might work
literally
a lot.
what it's missing is a pinch of pink Himalayan salt. You put that in there, and all of a sudden, I think you've cut the sour. It allows the puree to live.
Yeah.
Boom.
Y'all are
Pro tip, clown shoes.
Yeah.
y'all are in fucking trouble.
Why? What just happened?
I just saw a man walk by carrying a whole lot of stuff in his hands.
Are you serious?
Yeah,
At my house?
Yep.
Am I concerned?
you should. Well, episode 2.
Episode 2, you will be.
It's not Taylor, is it?
Yeah. Oh my God.
Okay.
Got a whole bunch of. He's got two coolers with him.
I actually think you hit it on the nose with a little salt maybe in that.
That's all it's missing.
Salt
That's all
would be
it's
good.
missing.
And if I recall, like there's a German sour, like a Berlinese or Berlinese, that's actually much more sour. I think it's closer to that.
Yeah, this is over the top.
This is over the top.
Not complaining, not saying he's winning.
Yeah,
Just
it's
a
not
three.
deli, but if you like sours, I would give it a whirl.
Yeah, look, I appreciate their effort.
Yeah.
And again, the puree is actually a fun situation. So,
Yeah.
add a little salt.
A little salt.
That's our pro tip to you, Clown Shoes.
A little salt will go a long way.
Sucks to suck.
Sucks to suck.
It is tart.
I don't know what I'm looking for. What do I got? Nope. There it is. Only took 4 tries.
They all worked.
Because they all kind of do because they're basic ass sounds. That's what we do over here. I tell you, it's hard to read topics when you cannot see.
Well, when you're Corey Hart or whatever the hell his name is. What's his name?
What's happening over there?
Who sang that song? It's
I
not
wear my
Corey Hart.
sunglasses
Yeah.
at night. Is it not Corey Hart?
I feel like Corey Hart is a motorcycle rider, Pink's husband.
No.
Now we gotta look it
Corey
up.
Hart like peaked in the 80s.
Now we gotta look it up.
Did Taylor just walk out with a Frenchie?
He did. He just picked Doug up.
That dude literally just walked in here like a fucking tornado.
Corey Hart sings Sunglasses
dropped
at
a
Night.
bunch of liquor on the bar, picked up a French bulldog, and walked out.
I said-
it's like a day at Lady Gaga's.
I was like, Taylor, I was like, hey, we're doing a double today. Why don't you come and like maybe make the Malort drink that we've got working on? So what does he do? He brings an entire bottle of Wild Turkey 101 rye.
I like where his head's going. Well, he knows there's Malort here.
Right.
He doesn't need to bring
need it.
mixers.
Right.
Yeah, he's like, I'm going to the house of Malort.
Corey Hart sang I Wear My Sunglasses at Night. Pink's husband is Carrie Hart.
Carrie Hart.
I was way off.
Ah, you weren't that far off. You're so hard on yourself. It was a vowel. Literally just missed a vowel.
Corey Hart did not sound right for some reason, but yeah. You're wearing your sunglasses inside there, cool guy.
Well, it's been a long weekend.
Did you actually have? Did I miss it? An earlier conversation. You had some old fashions prior to the episode.
Not today, no.
Not today.
No, but he was drinking prior to that.
But you were drinking prior.
Guys, you know what I tried today? A British bloody, a bloody Brit.
Does it have like a stout of like a beer in it?
No, they added gin instead of vodka, and then added cucumbers to the Bloody Mary, as Ely would say, quite refreshing.
I do like a gin Mary.
Pieces of it or like pureed into the bloody
No,
Mary?
there's like a couple slices in there.
Yeah.
Man, I'll tell you, it added a layer of kind of like refreshing brightness to a Bloody Mary that I'm not used to. And I got it spicy, which usually just darkens the whole situation. It's fantastic.
I do like a
Really
gin
good.
Mary.
I'd never had one, and I saw it, and I was like, don't mind if I do. And then I moved on to I wanted a Falcon Smash, because, one Falcon Smash doesn't cause any problems.
Right.
Yeah.
Because it's like an 8% ass kicker of a beer. And then I ordered a Two-Hearted, because, I can't have another Falcon Smash. She came out and handed it to me, and I was like, man, that tastes so much like Falcon Smash. She was like, oh, you didn't order Falcon Smash? I said, I did not.
Oh,
Oh.
no.
She goes, well, that's another one. And I was like, well, podcast should be great. In fact, my wife was like, well, that podcast should be interesting. I said, it's not a first episode problem.
Yeah.
It'll be the second.
It's a second
Definitely
episode
a
problem.
second episode problem.
Oh, look.
What's happening over there?
He is turning your little counter over there to a full-on bar, dude. That is
Fucking
wild.
Johnny Bravo over here is bringing it home.
He does have Johnny Bravo
He's got
hair.
a Johnny Bravo vibe,
awesome.
don't he?
He does have Johnny Bravo.
That should be his nickname on the podcast. Just Bravo. I think Bravo is a great
Yeah,
nickname
look,
for
I
Taylor.
love squeezing lemons, but y'all dropped the ball because y'all have two great heads of hair. Y'all should have definitely worked that in there somehow.
Well, we just got our business cards. They're coming in, and so we have to put a title who we are.
Yeah.
So host, mixologist. He's a trophy husband,
Nice,
and I'm the hair model.
nice.
So
Y'all do have just
Y'all gotta get
Fantastic
Y'all gotta
hair.
get like on your next business cards. Just get like pictures of the two of you standing next to each other, just from the eyes up with just your hair.
eyes to the top of the hair.
Yeah.
I respect that. I'd wear sunglasses too.
Oh yeah.
okay, we could do that.
Yes. Like take it up a notch.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
I kind of respect that.
I'm definitely jealous of their hair.
Yeah. Put a little lemon juice in there though. It's awfully dark. Mm-hmm. Get it?
Get it.
Get it.
Squeeze a little lemon in there.
That's exactly right. Exactly right. It's at least What are you handing me here, Taylor? I know you're not on, but just
some
straight
bourbon?
Just straight bourbon.
Oh, this is gonna be fun.
So this is Hilltop. This is out of
this is-
Powhatan.
Oh wow. I don't think I've heard of them.
No, they're a very small micro distillery.
How is it?
Okay. It's better than it should be for a young distillery.
Yep.
'Cause I'm
I love that
assuming-
label. Like it's just like a straight like we are a distillery. Like
That's all they are. They
Yeah, you know what we're not doing? Marketing.
Yeah,
Have
we're
a drink.
not marketers. Oh, what should we put on our label? Our name and a barrel. Got it.
What else?
pretty good.
No, we're gonna focus on what's in it.
Yeah.
Don't make it weird.
Did you like that?
I like that a lot.
Yeah.
I do feel like though, and when I say this, I don't mean disrespect. I mean, I can tell it's a young distillery.
It is very young.
You know what I mean?
It is
like
their
it
own stuff.
hasn't rounded in the way that it can, but whatever base product is going in there, so whatever mash bill they're using and all of that,
It's hot.
shockingly
114.
good. Yeah, for 114 proof, it's amazing.
I forgot. Is single barrel better than the mixed stuff?
Well, it depends. Single barrel. What generally happens? These large distilleries, they will use a large mash. They'll distill it and they'll put it
Smells
in
good.
all these different barrels. They'll put it in 50, 60, 70 barrels. Then they do a barrel dump, and then they bottle it. That's kind of like that 101 turkey rye over there. Every time you see a single barrel, it's going to be distinct flavor from
That one barrel.
just that one barrel. And you get about 220 bottles out of that one barrel.
I think it's more difficult to produce a single barrel consistently.
Well, you
good.
can't, right?
It's the
'Cause
same.
every
Very,
time it's going to
very
be
difficult,
different.
right?
It's the same thing with like wine growers. If they're like, no, this is 100% whatever varietal of grape,
Yeah.
it is more difficult to get that dialed in perfectly. Whereas if you're like, well, let's blend it, then you can be like, all right, this is perfect. Needs just a little more tannin, so put some of that Cab Franc in there and put a little. Then you just dial it in. That's why, like, if you ever go to a restaurant and you don't know what to get, just get like the Bordeaux, because it's a blend by nature. I'll take
Sure.
like the Chianti, something that where they're going to actually put a couple different grapes in there, and like they should have figured it out. Mm-hmm. They fixed the glitch. You better know what the fuck you're doing when you're like, I want that Cab Sauv from
Right.
that place. That's 100%.
And we've talked about this before, but that's where I give the mass production places, whether it be bourbon and or beer, like I give them props. Like to be able to push out consistently
Yeah.
the same flavors brewed the same way every time. I mean, think about the beers that get made. And you got to make it the same across the board. Like, good gracious,
Dude,
that's a
I can't even
fine
pour,
science.
I can't even pour you a coffee with cream with the same amount
Exactly,
every
yeah,
time.
yeah.
I can't. Sometimes there's more.
Yep.
I don't.
Sometimes there's less.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Depending on what part of the coffee, if it's the
all of it matters.
Oh, right.
It's crazy.
When it was ground or anything. I will tell you that there are some bourbon snobs out there that know exactly like what warehouse they like, what row in that warehouse they want that barrel from.
do we believe them?
That's a really good question, Troy.
I would say that a lot of these guys that say I want a warehouse K, row G or whatever, or row 10, that's the barrel that's my favorite. You kind of go, really? Like how do you know that? But a lot of people drink a lot
even
of
if
bourbon.
you know that, you sound like an asshole.
You
Absolutely.
do. You do. Keep that shit to yourself.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Send that to them.
You and
late
your
night by
jerk off
yourself.
buddies sit around your parlor at night and sip on that shit. Don't bring that out in public. You
Now
look
I
like an
enjoy.
idiot.
There are some bourbons out there that I would prefer to have a single barrel over a blend, but there are some blends out there that are just as good.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Have you guys seen? I know we've talked about it before. Have you seen like? There's a guy online or an article where they figured out like how to buy cheaper whiskeys and then blend them into the equivalent of a Pappy or whatever. Like
Yes.
40% this Jim Beam and 60% this, like, and then it ends up like a blah blah blah. Have you tried any of that?
Some distilleries are known for that. They will have their own. They'll have a couple different blends of bourbon that comes in. It's already distilled. They'll mix it all together and they'll make it their own. There are a lot of places out there that don't do any of their own distilling. They take these bourbons or whiskeys and they blend them and then they serve them as their own.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's hilarious.
Have you ever done the experiment where you take like a low rent vodka and just run it through coffee filters?
Yeah.
And then put it
Brita.
up against
I've heard
too?
Yeah.
I haven't done the Brita.
So I've heard if you buy the bottom shelf vodka,
Yeah.
run through a Brita 5-7 times, it ends up being
100%.
yeah, like, and they
Really?
prove that
100%.
as a fact, because basically that is what makes the top shelf vodkas better, is that they've just been
They just
filtered
filter
out
it.
more and more and more
Yeah,
and
they're
more
just
and more.
filtering more impurities out. So they take the time to
Yeah.
do the filtration process and then they serve it and they charge you more on account of it took them more time
Yeah.
to do the filtration process. It's the same base situation. Like
Right.
that liquor's the liquor. So you go get yourself some low rent,
Aristocrat.
Vladimir,
Yeah.
aristocrat, pour that stuff through a coffee filter, like 5 different coffee
I've never heard
filters.
coffee, but I've heard Britas.
I've people have talked about it, but I just don't. I mean,
That's
Yeah.
where I've done it. It's something as basic. A Brita would be the next step.
Yeah.
Right?
So you've done it with a
Yeah, where
coffee
I've
filter?
poured it through and then I'm like, try them. And like people who are like, I only drink Grey Goose. I only drink
come on. Yeah.
They're like, and it'll be all over the board. But if you give it to them unfiltered, they're like, no, this is better.
Yeah.
You can't tell. Mm-hmm. And it's the same with silver tequilas.
Yeah.
You can get as long as it's 100% agave, you run it through a coffee filter one time. That stuff, like, so I buy Humidor,
Okay.
which is like the world's highest selling. In Mexico, it's the number one selling tequila because it's 100% agave and the price point is right. So it's the lowest level I can find with it. I run it through a coffee filter and I'll put it up against any other silver tequila.
Do you ever get hungover with tequila? I mean, supposedly, if you do additive-free tequila, you won't get a hangover.
I guess I don't enjoy
You probably
tequila
never drank.
enough to
Like
that's what I'm saying. I don't
an
enjoy
exclusive
tequila.
night of tequila. Like when we
No.
Brendan used to make humidor and it was delicious. He'd buy this humidor and then he'd grow his own peppers and he would
Like
seep them,
spicy Humidor.
and it was delicious. But it was always just part of your drinking beer and watching football. You
Right.
have a shot of humidor, maybe 2. Like
But I would filter that.
yeah.
It was just naturally part of the project. Like I'm gonna filter it one time. It's gonna be better tequila. Then I'm going to age it. It just helps.
Yeah. And then you would filter it again because you would have to filter all
Yep.
the peppers out of it.
Yep. And it's phenomenal stuff.
Yeah.
I guess because we do a lot of mixing and we put a lot of mixers in it. We haven't tried
But
to
aren't
filter
most
any
of the hangovers from all of the
sugar.
additives? Yeah, the sugars and all
things like that. But if you do exclusive night of tequila drinking, no additive tequila is the way to go. That means
And 100% agave.
100% agave. That means no. If it has somebody's name on it,
Yeah.
like a Clooney,
Yeah.
or a Rock.
Red Rocker.
Yeah, so don't
Sammy Hagar.
don't have any of those. So,
No, that one
All
Clooney
that
does
stuff.
is fantastic.
but it's full of additives and flavor.
Oh, is it?
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's my one.
No,
Damn it.
So you can either sip it room temperature, or you can pour it on the rocks. Like that's your night.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay. I guess we're
Well, we have a guest here.
We have a guest, but I want to go ahead and shut this down so we can get to the guest
Yes,
because I got places to be, things to do.
that's right.
So thank you all so much for tuning in this week. We certainly do appreciate you being here and spending the time with us. Hopefully it was an hour and 15 minutes of your time well spent. You could have done worse, let's be honest.
yeah. There's this movie with
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. I just saved you a bunch of time. Least you could do is do this.
Right.
While you have all that free time, now that I've saved you an hour from watching that turd, the drag through concrete or across concrete, why don't you go over and rate and review Inside the Pallet House? Hell, while you're over
And-
there, go find Squeezing Lemons, and why don't you give them a rate and review? They're on iTunes and they're on Spotify. It shouldn't be too hard to find considering that owns 80-some% of the podcast inventory that's out there. So do yourself a favor and check that out. And if you haven't had a chance to head over to Nectar Sunglasses, you can always drop Abacus in the coupon code, get 20% off of what's already a reasonably priced sunglass. And you can always get yourself a mortgage if you're in that situation, because debt is my new favorite thing. But at least Jimmy will take care of you over at Screen Door Mortgage.
That's right.
Again, thanks so much for tuning in. If you have topics to send us, you can do so at InsideThePalletHouse@gmail.com. And you can always find us on Venmo at Troy. Troy, what?
At Inside the Pout House. I was like, you were like at
That's what
Troy.
it
I was like,
was.
it doesn't start with Troy.
I couldn't remember. I couldn't
At Inside the
remember.
Pout House.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We'll be talking to you next week. Cheers.
Cheers. That was a pretty good podcast, don't you think?